and then click adjourn.
Then
And
it's
then
go.
it asks me for the passcode.
Oh, okay. I see what I did. I gave you my damn participant ID. Passcode is 781-697.
Why ain't you a fucking rocket scientist?
Yeah, off my ass there, Couillon. There you are.
All right, I'm in, bro.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Gettin 10-8. And with me tonight, we got a Rob and Mike special, a one-on-one. Mike has the champagne of beer in his hand up there in his Miller Lite. I have a Pilsner or a
It is
pint
not
of
Miller
choice.
Lite.
Miller.
It is
Miller.
Miller High Life.
Miller High Life. The champagne of
That's
beer. There you go. It's got to be right in front of you or it washes out.
yeah, yeah.
So
Sorry
tonight
about
it's just me and Mike, and we're gonna talk some stuff about the coast, and uh, there's no telling where this conversation's gonna go because my ADD mind will drag us all over the damn place if Mike lets me.
it. Robbie, I don't know if me and you just ever sat here and talked shit for an hour on a recorded line.
Right.
Who's consent to have recording? Because I don't know if you're keeping up with the coast, but they got some bullshit going on down here right now.
Consent to record.
Yeah.
What do you?
Apparently Mississippi is one person's got to know it's being recorded.
Well, hell,
Um,
both of us know it's being recorded. We're on a damn Zoom meeting.
I don't know that you're recording it. I don't think you told me you were recording. I don't know. I think you got to hit a button to record it. So you don't even have to tell me you're recording it. I think I know you're doing it, but
Yeah, as soon as you come in, before I even do the intro, you're record. I set up the recording, and then I come in and I edit all that crap out that I'm not using.
speaking of recording, I got to get Beth LeBlanc on here. I got my ass ripped one night. Dispatch records
Everything.
communications. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
phone
didn't
and
say that.
radio.
Oh, your ass, you didn't say that. You want to hear
Yeah.
it? Dude, that was pretty embarrassing. It was in my defense, they had damn near assigned us another. I don't remember what the call was. I think I'm doing one arm CPR, one arm patient report, taking somebody to the hospital. And they tell us we got to get 10-8 for a call.
And you've got a patient in the back of the truck.
Doing fucking CPR.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I said, I don't have time to respond to this. I am still en route doing CPR on a patient. When we get to the hospital, get unloaded, and pass off, I'll be glad to contact you via landline and we'll discuss this. You need to get 10-8. I said, you need to come get your ass in the back of an ambulance. Apparently, I said that on the radio.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah,
Lord have mercy.
they,
Now that was Beth did that.
no, that was not Beth, but Beth is
Okay.
Beth. Beth says she can't remember anything from doing all that stuff.
Now
Um, but I
when
know
I
she
work
can.
when I work with Beth, um, that was an AmServe when she was a dispatcher
She was a calm soup at Mobile Medic
at at AM
on
when it was
11th Street.
AMR.
No, Mobile Medic. She left Biloxi Dispatch before I left AmServe. So she went to Biloxi to Mobile Medic and had to have been. I started in June of '85, so she must have gone to Mobile Medic somewhere around '85
Huh.
or shortly thereafter.
I swear I had it in my head that she was at AmServe when I was at AmServe. I went to AmServe in like '89.
No, bro. She was at Mobile Medic in '89 when I left AmServe.
Okay.
But she did dispatch when I was here's the rat. She's playing in one of Lori's potted plants right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, but we don't have a what's Mike eating tonight because Mike ate before we got in here. He had a drumstick, and when I say a drumstick, I'm not talking to chicken or turkey. I'm
No,
talking it's 110 in the shade in South Mississippi ice cream drumstick.
it was elbow licking melted.
So
Um,
so so the cat, the kitten that was just on Mike,
yeah, Junie Mae.
last episode, Mike had just adopted this animal. And what did you say you named it?
Junie Mae. Got her in June. She's born in May. Junie Mae.
Junie Mae is the cat's name.
And she's pretty good. She's it just added one more head to the herd we got. That makes it 5 in the house that we got to feed. So I'm gonna start a GoFundMe or something to help offset the how much we spend $300 a month
What?
for food for dog and cat food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, $300 or so a month. She just went that way, baby.
Yeah, she's in.
Lori, you're a saint.
I know.
Yeah, and Lori, you're a saint not only for taking care of the dogs and cats, but putting up with Mike Pontius all these years.
Yep. I know.
Being recorded. Do you really want to say all this right now?
Is he married?
No, he's not married. He got kicked out.
Oh.
Oh, I'm a 3-time loser.
He 3-time loser saying.
I was gonna say, just like your wife was a saint, but
Well, she was.
She didn't have the tolerance that you have. That's why you're a saint, Lori. None
Mother
of them had the
Teresa,
tolerance.
Mother Lori.
well, I don't know. There's a thing. I don't know. I guess I am kind of a saint, but seriously, he's a saint. He's a saint for putting up with me too.
Fact. 1,722% fact.
Yeah.
It's a
Well,
two-way. We're 100% 50-50 in this house. She 50-50 puts up with me, and I 50-50 put up with her.
Yeah, I'm
Well-
not the easiest person.
you know, it's like look, let me tell y'all something. It's like they said in Awakenings, Robin Williams said in Awakenings, nobody's perfect, cuz the question is, are y'all perfect for each other? And y'all found a great combination, and I'm proud for y'all.
36 years later, I'm stuck on this road. I can't get off this road. There ain't no
Yeah,
exit.
and she ain't smothered you in your sleep. You're doing good, Pontius.
Well, no, I'm more concerned about her choking herself to death at night because she sleeps under 17 pillows. You ever seen the video of the dude?
Oh,
It's a meme that's got a wall of like 12,000 pillows, and the dude's pillows on the bottom right corner, and the other 11,999
For the wife?
hers.
Yeah.
That's her.
well,
So now she got one of them daggum masks.
sleep mask.
Some bitch came with earplugs. She should have put the earplugs in, but she really doesn't need it because she's covered with a German down pillow that conforms to her head, and there's no way that she can breathe under it. So I think she probably passes out hypoxia every night. I'm gonna put a pulse ox on her. I swear, I'm gonna slip a pulse ox on your finger one night.
Okay, goodbye.
Where you going?
Bye, Lori.
She's clean. I don't know what she's doing. 36 years. But anyway, yeah, Beth. I seriously, it was, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I think it was I was convinced. They convinced me that I was wrong, telling them that I was doing CPR, and I talked to them when I got in. But the more I think about it, I want to appeal that note to file.
Now?
Yeah, I think I'm going to appeal it. What's the statute of limitations on verbal warning, note to file, class ones? I don't know.
I think that's way since gone. I mean, surely they had it on a card, because they're charting everything. that you've picked up a patient and y'all are 10-8 en route to the hospital with
I'm
10
charting
15.
drugs and shocks and everything. They know what the hell I'm doing.
You're 10-8, 10-15 times 1, CPR in effect, 10-22, GMH.
Lights
Rolling.
inside, you can hear it on the tape.
Yeah, we're code 3. So, yeah. I mean, y'all had everything done right. What the hell is another dispatcher trying to send you on a call for?
I guess we was in one of them we only had 5 trucks at night. Sometimes there's only 4. And
That sounds
I don't
like
even know if
something.
I called in my med control report yet. I think I hadn't even gotten there. I'm wasting time arguing with them. They trying to send me on a call. And I need to call the hospital and tell them I'm bringing a cardiac arrest. I don't even think I did that before that.
Well, I
Yeah.
tell you what. Oh, John Knight's who I remember. Good
Big
Lord.
John. Oh, yeah.
I would get that call. Because, every time, Momedic 7, son of a bitch.
10-8.
All right, Momedic 7, 25th and 25th. He's looking for who's the closest to the call. And we had to call in and tell him where we were when he called your name.
I guarantee you I'm answering last, and I'm going to be the furthest one. I got a MVA at 49 and 90. So-and-so, where you at? 49 in airport. So-and-so, where you at? Klondike and Beatline. So-and-so, where you at? O'Neill and 49. So-and-so, where you at? DeBees and 90. I say I'm on medic 11. Where you at? Bay St. Louis Bridge.
Picayune.
I promise you, I may have drove by that son bitch. If it didn't look bad, I did not do that. But it was, they were like, when they finally got that GPS stuff, right? I was in the office by that time, but system status management and vehicle location, AVL system, should have reduced that. I don't think it did to the extent that when it first started. Today, I'm sure it works to the crew's disadvantage because
Yeah.
you can't hide from it.
Well, that blew my mind when Vic told me that they've got where they're tracking those ambulances. They can see where you're at on GPS.
When's the last time you went in the dispatch center, Rob?
Dude, I'm telling you, man, I went into offshore as a medic in 91. And the only time I worked on an ambulance, on my days off, I would come in and I'd work on trucks to keep my skills up. But dispatch in Laurel, Mississippi wasn't anything like what you were dealing with on the coast. It was still a little country ambulance.
And that probably still is, but Mobile Medic AMR probably 98, 99, I guess. Dude, it went freaking, you'd go and look on the freaking map up on the wall and you'd see these little cartoon looking ambulances going down the road. Shit, they'd turn a light on if they was in priority response or something. And now there was no more hiding. There was people, I was actually in fleet maintenance at the time. I was purchasing fleet maintenance. And people was putting aluminum foil over the GPS transcender up in the cab. And, shit, they was trying to hide that. You think road safety, all safe, drive, whatever it was called, was bad?
Fail safe. Fail safe was what it came out as fail safe, and then they changed it. They said, "Oh, that's negative. It's got fail right in the front of it. We're going to start calling it all safe." But when that came out, I was there when that started coming to the ambulances.
Oh, yeah.
And I told you I went through that paramedic refresher class here a few years ago. I was just going to go back and challenge and get the basic registry.
I remember that.
So I'm sitting there and I'm in that class and they said, raise your hand if you've ever written a paper report. Well, of course I raised my hand, and I think there was 3 of us in the class of 20 people that had written an actual paper report. And
you went quiet there, Rob. You were taking a refresher and there was nothing until you said 20 people wrote a report.
Yeah, they said that 20 people's in the classroom. 3 of us raised our hand saying that we've written a paper report. And everybody's like, really? And I'm like, well, how many people in here have never written a computer report? And I'm sticking my hand up.
No shit.
We didn't have that when I was on the ambulance.
No.
Everything Everything was paper. And then when they came out with the state forms, filling out those damn dots, felt like I was taking the dang ACT again.
Bullet point Sharpies or whatever they call them.
Yep.
I could. I'd feel.
Yep.
I probably had 50 of them in my bag. We ended up carrying bags and pre-filled in some bitches because you had to put your social, your partner's social.
Yep.
I mean, it was your paramedic. I mean, it was so much shit.
And we'd have the date on there. We just didn't put the times in. We'd have the date, our partners, all that stuff pre-filled out. That was part of while your partner's out there checking the ambulances, oil and brake fluid and all that stuff. And I was carrying my kit, so I didn't have to go through a kit. He was going through all that stuff, and I was sitting there pre-filling out those forms.
What you mean you didn't carry the kit?
The paramedic kit. The only thing I had to check, it went with me, so I knew I didn't have to go through.
So you had your own kit?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We had our own kits at AmServe.
You know what? The ALS kit was your own kit. I remember that because I became an intermediate. I got IV bags in mine.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Yep.
Yeah, Mobile Medic was totally different.
I remember at Mobile Medic carrying that brown RTSS. Radio telephone switching system. That was the original cell phone. That's some Johnny and Roy shit there.
It wasn't brown. It was orange.
Was it orange?
Yeah, it was. It looked just like a, not the 747, but what was the other paramedic jump box we used? Had the bottom part that clipped on and.
The possum belly, the Plano possum belly?
No, it wasn't a Plano. It was a, God damn.
The 747's what you had if you were a basic or an intermediate.
That was the fish tackle box. That was awesome. But then we went to the orange
that orange one. That orange one was a fish and tackle box too.
Yeah, but it had a strap. But anyway, the RTSS, yes, it had the freaking antenna, and you would dial in the hospital, and you pick up the phone, you talk to them. Just man, I'm badass, man. It's just like Johnny Gage and Roy.
Yeah,
we're freaking calling the hospital from a radio tower.
That's right.
Yeah. It wasn't no different than getting in the back of the truck. It was just cooler looking.
Yeah. That's right.
I do remember that. Man, look, I'm going to tell you, people don't know. You know what? I may be saying this wrong. When we say that people don't know what we had to do back then, I think that modern technology, I think there's still paramedics, but I think that the modern technology side of it has made them more of a clinician than a emergency medicine caregiver. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they've got so much information that they've got to cipher through that we couldn't have. We didn't
overload, capillary refill, alert, oriented, conscious, blood pressure. But I can take care of you from here. I don't need to know all the rest of that shit because I can't do that with it. But now you can do stuff with it, so it has changed.
Remember when you had to wait a minute and a half to get your chem strip so you could figure out what their blood sugar was? Didn't have it.
That one is like, yeah, it was 90 seconds. Yeah, it was 90 seconds to get the reaction on the dip strip. And,
sitting there looking at your watch, figuring out if I'm going to push that D50.
Well, god dang, you could do your CVG test in between shocks with a Life Pack 5. Yeah. You know, I mean, hell, that son bitch took 27 seconds to charge to 200. And if you got the third shock out of that little bitty old battery, you were fortunate if you could save their life. But yeah,
I used to carry, I used to carry 4 extra batteries in those side packs for my Life Pack 5.
I don't think we could carry but one because we didn't have no extra ones to carry.
I was pretty good at hoarding.
I may have run out. I don't know. I know Life Pack 10. We went to them.
How many times have you pulled the battery out of your defibrillator because you've run through all your batteries to put it over in the monitor so you can watch what's going on.
I pulled it out of the monitor to shock somebody with a defibrillator. I'm pretty sure. I don't know how
I've
many
done it
times I've
both
done the other
ways.
one.
Yeah, I've done it both ways.
I remember Life Pack 10. I want to say that some bitch had 3 batteries in it. You could take
Mm-hmm.
3 of the Life Pack 5 batteries,
Yep.
and that's what it held, and it ran pretty good.
Yeah, I'm seeing memes where it said if you use one of these, you're old school, and it was a Life Pack 10. I remember, I didn't see a Life Pack 10 till I went offshore.
I may have this backwards. No, I don't have this backwards. So I went through the Life Pack 10, and it had the pacing
Yep, shoulder roll, waiting on
where
the
you
shoulder
put the,
roll.
yeah, you can wait and put the pads on to shock them and defib them. When I was leaving the field, they were coming out with this new thing called a Life Pack 12. That somebody did 12 lead EKGs and had telemetry, and you could send that stuff to the hospital. I mean,
And
imagine that.
it interpreted the rhythm for it. The computer told you what it was.
Man, I think that was the 15. I don't think the 12 told you what it was. Somebody correct us if we're wrong, but I don't think the 12 told you what the hell you had.
Hey, look, we need to start doing this.
What we need to
Every
do,
one
Rob?
of these videos, y'all comment to us in this video. Let us know what the first cardiac monitor you had to work with was. What you think is you want it back, or you're glad that you've got what you got, and let us know what you're working with right now, because we're 2 old bastards that ain't working with none of that anymore.
I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. There ain't nobody going to comment on anything beyond a Life Pack 10, maybe a Life Pack 12, that's going to say anything that they wish they had it back, because they all retired. They don't work no more.
Yeah, I've been looking for a Life Pack 5 on eBay. I want one just for nostalgia.
Man, I'm friends with our old biomed guy, Steve White, on Facebook. And I'm going to send Steve a message. I mean, obviously, it's a FDA device. Randy, God dang, what was Randy's name up in Oregon? Randy, when I was doing the FEMA deal, I went up to Oregon, to Portland, to our cash site. And I walked into his office, and he had, is it a Life Pack 3? It was like a fucking roll around suitcase. It
Yeah.
was huge.
Yeah.
I don't know how they got it on there. It may have been a hospital device, but I
That
think it
was
made it.
you remember right? If you were sitting in the jump seat and the stretcher's in front of you, the head, you remember that big open space right there next to where the
That's
oxygen
what
port?
went there.
That's
where
what
it
went
sat.
there.
They had a winch.
It
on
had
the
to be
side
big
of the
enough
truck
to handle
pick it up,
that
take it
cat.
out.
That's exactly what that was.
That thing weighed 54 pounds, I believe. It was the heaviest son of a bitch. I talked to him, but he collected all that stuff. And I don't know why this camera thing's flashing right here. I'm trying to move where it doesn't do it.
You're doing
Set
fine.
on. But Randy, what was Randy's name, man? He's a dadgum Oregon guy. I bet I could get Randy on here. Randy Lauer. I'm gonna find Randy Lauer. We're gonna get a West Coaster dude, another West Coast dude, another one of them freaking left states on here.
Well, when you get him, tell I need his shipping address so I can get him a stand and
He
a
probably got all
microphone
this
sent
shit.
to him.
He probably got it all. And I need to touch base back with Rester. He'd been on a cruise for 2 weeks, and then we got separated. You did some unnecessary fire service thing, kicked me out. So we missed that week. Then we came back in with a damn fireman. I need to get Rester on here because he really was interested in it. And I
Hey,
won't. Go ahead.
I'm all for getting him on.
It's not just him, and Fayard wants to do it too. John Knight been fighting cancer pretty bad. I don't know
Oh
if you
yeah,
follow
yeah.
him or not.
John told me I've already got him a screen set up for the background for dispatcher. I've got him a background ready. It's just we've yet to get him on here.
Call that motherfucker and say, get on.
And I need to get Benny French is supposed to have been on too. Mark Lombard is supposed to have been on. Um,
I'm
it's
gonna
all
call
well and
Benny.
good. It's all well and good until you're going, okay, we're meeting up and we're doing this thing Tuesday night. Oh, I got this or I got that.
See, I don't give two shits. Like I tell you, my old lady, my wife, is dragging out. It's 300 feet up the hill to the street to put trash cans up there, and she's dragging the trash cans. I told her I'd do it. Um, I don't care if anybody else is on there. I could just turn the video on and talk to myself. I mean, this is the flashbacks on this shit. And you asked me something before we started recording. You said you wanted to talk about something. I don't even know what you want to talk about. We done gone
I
past.
want to talk about. Remember, getting one of those shifts where you're so damn slammed, man, and you on the 24:48, you're getting hangry, but you're getting call after call. Half of them are transfers. And if you had the contract, you were busy on transfers. And I'm not going
That's
into
right.
who the contract was with, but I'm telling you what, you're getting hangry. You're starving to death. In Gulfport, Church's Chicken on Pass Road, we got a 50% discount when we went in there when we were at work.
With the white gravy on the tenders.
Absolutely.
If you
But
didn't get the white, and they got rid of the white gravy, pissed me off.
my question is breakfast food. Where was your favorite place for breakfast food?
Well, let me walk over here. Now, you can still hear me. I got one more beer in this fridge, and I'm gonna have to go to the back. Um, you know, the greatest part working on an ambulance. I'll film back into the screen here. Y'all be able to see me coming. There we go. We coming back now. I gotta go this way. I got dogs blocking it right there. I couldn't get back to my seat. So anybody worth their weight in EMS knew that my nose is running tonight. I'll tell you that story in a minute. Garage beer, lime flavor. It's actually pretty good. It's a tall boy. It's a pint, 4%. So if a pint is 16 ounces and a bottle is 12 ounces,
Yep. You're
and
getting
this
3/4 of
is,
a pint.
well, but my question is not that. If it's 4% and 12 ounces and they put the 4% in 16, is it 25% more or
You're
not?
just getting more volume. You're getting four. Think of it as your pharmacology. 4 milligram. Are you
I'm
using?
just,
I'm sorry, you got me to doing my calculations.
I just was thinking the other day, I said, dude, if one of them 8-ounce ponies or 6-ounce ponies is 4.9%, and I drink a tall boy, which is 16 ounces,
It's
is that like
4.9%.
12%? It's still 4.9%. So we're just checking our dosages. But anyway, so anybody on an ambulance knew that, cops eat donuts. They
Yep.
always at the free donut shop. In the South, we have Waffle House, which has been around for, I don't know,
Post
before
World
I was
War
on
Two.
ambulance.
Post
I
World War
don't know
Two.
how much it's expanded, but hell, we got 3 of them within a mile at the D'Iberville I-110, I-10 interchange. There's 3 Waffle Houses within a mile.
Hey, do you know what they do with Waffle House?
They serve
They aren't going to make a bigger
Grand
Waffle
Slams.
House. They don't do it. Every Waffle House is going to be a small Waffle House. They want to have about 30 or 40 people in there eating, no more than that, because they got 2 cooks. They want everything efficient, run in a safe, efficient Waffle House manner, just like the military.
I think that's the concept obviously works.
So if
Um,
one Waffle House blows up and they aren't able to do the customers, they will expand the parking lot and build another fucking Waffle House in the
On the
same
same
parking
site.
lot. Yes.
Oh.
So, but they aren't going to
It's-
mess with what works. That's why they're so
Well,
good.
Look, they got it figured out, man. I sitting there, and the worst time to go to Waffle House is when you're sober. But even when I'm drunk after a Mardi Gras ball or some event that we've been to, we Uber. I don't drink and drive no more.
Yeah.
Because I ain't gonna give up drinking, so I gave up driving.
There you go.
I don't know if they got 12 steps for giving up driving, but I gave it up. I don't know that I don't mean this to sound bad, but the education level of your average Walmart employee is not. I mean, they probably ask, "Do you have a GED?" Yes
If
or no.
that.
Not did you graduate, but do you have a GED?
If that.
If that would be the highest level that they expect. These people could run the New York Philharmonic Orchestra. They badass.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you get 50 seats in there full of drunk, hungry people at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. You never hear, "Where's my food?" It just doesn't happen. They know
No.
what they're doing.
And they've got their own language.
Oh yeah, drop 2, picking up 7. Give me a this and give me a chunk in this covering. Okay, you got it.
Scattered, smothered, chunk, top, capped.
Yeah, but pull 2 chicken, pull 3 bacon, pull. I mean, they're freaking. We need to start a Waffle House freaking
Calling
10 code
podcast.
list. I mean, they ought to be able to have 10 code. Give me 1029, 1027 times 2. Give me a 1032. Give me a 1055, and give me a signal 22. Thank you. Got it. Coming up.
Dude, I gotta tell you, this Waffle House, you know, I'm on this carnivore diet where I'm eating just proteins.
Is that a seafood diet like you've always been on?
I go in for my thing when I walk in, and this Waffle House sees me so often. They see me coming through. Is it option A or option B? That's what they ask me. All right, option A is a pull 2 bacon, which is 6 strips of bacon, and I want a side Fiesta omelet old fashioned.
I like that. I can do that.
So the omelet, you know, there's no carbs in that. Then option B is they've got
When
what
you
they
get
call
cheese or no cheese?
Yeah, it's got cheese. You can have eggs, cheese, and meat all you want. I'm not getting
cheese had some carbohydrates in it.
no. I'm
Okay.
not getting. You can have dairy. I am not getting the hash browns. I'm not getting the biscuits. I'm not getting gravy.
No. No.
I'm not getting the waffle. But so I go in and I've got that is option A. Option B is they call it the Delmonico steak, which I think is funny.
It's freaking delicious.
Well, the Delmonico steak at the Waffle House is about this thick. Okay.
Oh, no?
The Delmonico steak was named after Delmonico restaurant, and all it is a damn 2-inch thick ribeye.
Yep.
So you're getting a thin ribeye, but what I do is option B. I still do my pull 2 bacon. I'm getting 6 strips of bacon no matter what. That's meat candy. That's my dessert.
Your cartoids are gonna be clogged up.
Oh, so I get the Delmonico steak, and they put onions. I have them put onions and mushrooms on top of it, and then I have them 2 over medium eggs on top of that, and that's option B.
Have you checked your damn cholesterol?
Oh, I ain't worried about that damn cholesterol. You know when
Probably ought
cholesterol
to check
medicine,
that.
you know when cholesterol medicine got real out there. That's when they
found
started
out high
checking cholesterol.
cause freaking strokes. That's when they found out about it.
I'm too damn mean and ornery to catch any of that.
Let me tell you a story, because you just reminded me of our little buddy Hollis Parrish. Remember
Oh yeah.
Hollis?
Oh, absolutely.
Hollis Parrish taught me basic EMT in '85,
Hmm.
and then he was my partner at AmServe, and then we both went to Mobile Medic, and I was in paramedic school. I told a story about the cheating lady and husband, but Hollis was 5 foot tall,
And 5 foot wide.
4'10". He was under five wide, and he has found this newfound diet, fad diet, and I don't even remember what it was called. But he said, Mike, we can eat all the eggs and meat, and we won't.
It
So guess where
Atkins
you got the most eggs and meat from? Waffle House.
Waffle
We
House.
would go in there. That some bitch would order 17 egg omelet. I mean, fill the freaking plate up and eat every bit of it. And he's convinced he's losing weight. I said,
Uh,
Hollis, how much exercise are you doing? Well, he had sleep apnea. So if you didn't know where you were going on an ambulance, you're screwed because that fucker's asleep by the time you get siren going didn't matter. The only time I could have him awake is when we're on the interstate running and I just slammed the freaking brakes on. I said, oh shit, we gonna crash. And he'd wake up, God damn it. Go back to sleep. Anyway, back to your original question. You asked where you ate at or where we ate at. So you had Waffle House.
hmm
If you were fortunate enough to be in Ocean Springs, you had the Master Grill.
Oh yeah.
If you were fortunate enough to be in Long Beach, you had Ward's on Railroad Street.
Right.
If you were fortunate enough to be in Biloxi,
Krispy
you
Kreme.
had Alcer. That's a good option, but that was
If
more of
that
a
flashing light at 2 in the morning.
I'm turning in. Patient, no patient, didn't matter. We got the dispatch. We got to check on an unconscious person at 2100 Beach Boulevard. I was awful suspicious to the Krispy Kreme. Nope, not it. Not promise you. But if you were fortunate enough to be in Biloxi downtown, you had Mary Mahoney's Cafe.
Oh yeah.
Good Lord, have mercy. The crab meat and cheese in there was
On
so
their omelet.
it was crab meat cheese sandwich, po'
Uh,
boy, and it probably had a pound of crab meat. I think it was $8.99, which was a lot back then, but good. It probably $30 today.
right.
Um, so you had Krispy Kreme, you had Master Grill, you had Waffle House, you had Mary Mahoney's, you had Ward's. Um, hmm.
You remember
Basically,
in
Lewis has a place on Highway 90. God damn.
how fast could you eat when you had to? Because I hated eating cold food. I got a call. We had just come out of the damn drive-through. On We were in Ocean Springs, and it was that Burger King right there at the first red light after you got into Ocean Springs from Biloxi. We got a call at the intersection in front of the hospital. I had consumed my whole burger, half my fries, and was choking down my drink when I got out to go see the patient.
Unless you were driving, that was a rookie move right there. You should have been done by the time you got to Vermont in 90, which is the next red light down. If it took
Yeah,
you to go all the way through Ocean Springs to eat all that, you enjoyed that meal. Period. I
that's true.
promise you, man. There was a place in I'm trying to think. There was several places that you did this at, but it was hell, I could eat a taco salad from Taco Sombrero driving running code.
Uh huh.
I ain't no lie. I mean, it did. I was not the lettuce gets soggy. You can't eat soggy ass lettuce under
No.
ground beef with all that stuff. It just you can't do it.
And Church's
Um,
chicken is great in Gulfport, but
mm,
you want it hot.
it's got to be hot, and so Church's chicken and Popeyes used to do it. I don't know if you remember this or not, but and Laura used to work at Taco Bell, so I'm going to go into that just a little bit. But Churches and Popeyes used to have this tub of jalapeno peppers on the counter,
Mm-hmm.
in a cold bucket in the make whatever you call it, a counter where they prep everything. Well, you only could get peppers, but in this tub of marinade, they had carrots. Uh, I think it may have just been carrots. I said, "Hey, can I have some spicy carrots?" And they would scoop me out just all the carrots out of the jalapeno juice. Well, Churches did the same thing. So
What
Churches
was
had their.
carrots in there with
I don't
jalapenos?
know. I have no idea why they had carrots in their pepper sauce, but it was freaking awesome. The carrots were hot and crunchy.
Hmm.
Um, Churches had the same thing, except they had. God, they had something else in there. They had carrots and jalapenos. But anyway, you would get the chicken tenders at Churches, and you would get white gravy,
Mm.
and it was
To dip them in.
I'm telling you, it was like sausage gravy for
Yep.
biscuits. But I don't remember them having. They had biscuits, but I don't know why they had it. And then they got rid of. Then they got rid of Churches. But they had three things in their jalapeno things. It was carrots, jalapenos, and onions. Maybe it was red. It was red onions. I could eat that stuff as a meal, dude. I would just I said, strain it out, put it in a cup. I'll sit there and eat it. And it was, um, O'Neill's.
Mm-hmm.
Ward's had the best biscuit and gravy on the coast, I think. They had real sausage in their gravy. It wasn't some bullshit. It was real
You
milk.
know that Richard and Ed were from Ward started here in Hattiesburg. You know that, huh?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You
Richard
know
and
'em?
Ed, they were twins, and they had nicknames. Ed was real conservative, real frugal. He was tight. He was the business guy, and Richard was the flamboyant. Look, I got all this money, spending it. So their nicknames were Timex and Rolex.
I'm Casio.
Ed, Ed was Timex and Richard was Rolex.
Oh shit! I did not know that.
But they had the Frost Top here in Hattiesburg. When I was a kid,
On Highway 11.
no, Frost Top was on Hardy Street by the Hardy Street Cinema. So, which is now some laser tag place. But anyway, they had the Frost Top, and Abby Rogers. You know, we talked about camp last episode. Abby Rogers was a sped teacher, and she got with Richard and Ed Ward. You know, and she said, "Look, I want to bring my students in on a field trip and go have lunch at Ward's." And of course, they said, "Yeah, bring them on." So she wanted her kids to go out. This is back in the 50s and late 50s, early 60s when people were trying to hide people with that medical diagnosis.
Got messed up kids. Yeah, yeah.
So, but Abby's like, no, these kids are going to be integrated into the society. And she brought them out in public, and they went to eat at Ward's, and Richard told her, said, "Miss Abby, you can bring them back anytime you want. They're better behaved than some of the teenagers that come in here."
Word.
So, what ended up happening was Richard, and later in his life, Ed had already passed on. Richard had had a stroke, and Richard and I were friends, and he couldn't get. He moved out. He was out in the woods, and he loved watching. He had pet raccoons that came up to on his porch, and he'd feed them dog food. And then he had during the day, he was watching all the squirrels and birds. He was throwing chops out there. So I would go pick up Richard's 50-pound bag of chops and 50-pound bag of dog food and bring to his place where he could just scoop it out and throw it out there so he could keep all his animals fed. Good
Right?
dude, man. Up until he
So
passed
they're
away.
all
God,
dead.
God
They got
rest both
kids
their
running it?
souls.
Who,
Do
who
what?
runs Ward's? Who runs it now? Did somebody in the family keep
His daughter, Richard's daughter, has a couple of the stores here in Hattiesburg. The franchises, they started the franchising. What they did was, I think it was like 1980 when they left Frost Top. They started. We can start our own stores. So they bought a store on 40th Avenue, and they said, "What do you want to put a store all the way out there on the west side of town? That's not going to do anything."
Shit.
Everybody, and I mean, where it is now, 40th Avenue, that's on the Hattiesburg side of 59. You know, most of us, Hattiesburg's grown out west like it's a big tumor. So,
It moved hard towards Lamar County, big time.
absolutely,
Oak Grove.
absolutely. But anyway, yeah, Ward's Richard was
I didn't know that.
Yep, yep. He's a
I
good
had
dude.
no idea.
He used to
figured
love
North
watching
Carolina.
me eat. I'd meet him for lunch at the Wards on 40th Avenue, and he used to love, because I always liked those chili cheese dogs that they had.
Chili cheese dogs and the chili cheeseburger were probably my two favorite meals.
The big one. Yeah.
The big, yeah. I think of Ward's and the sausage gravy and their biscuits because it was real. I think of Mahoney's and the crab meat and cheese po' boy.
You
Or
know,
the Denver omelet. The Denver omelet was like a Hollis Parish.
Yeah.
There wasn't no skinny people eating in Mary Mahoney's. Chinese food. Oh Lord! I tell you a story about Carlos Redmond and the Chinese place, the buffet. Yeah, you paid double. It was all you could eat. Carlos could hurt that freaking buffet.
As long as he didn't get a call.
Look, Carlos Redmond's the only person I know that showed up to get on the ambulance and use the inverter for his crock pot. That's no lie. Robbie,
What
your
was he
sound
cooking up in
started.
there?
That some bitch would do pot roast, he'd do spaghetti, he'd do meatballs, he'd do red beans. But his pot roast was pretty good.
Hopefully he could lock that lid down. It was a big crock pot.
It wasn't that big, but I mean, he'd plug it into the inverter when he got in the truck. Lunchtime, he's eating. He pulled up to the hospital and he had to lock the doors because people eat his shit. That's the truth. That Carlos Redmond could cook. And
He can.
But he could ambulance cook. He'd take a crack pipe and turn that son bitch on and make a gourmet meal going down the road. Sit there at a station. That was when we were getting rid of stations, I guess, when we
Now,
spent most of our time.
Hold on a second, folks. He said crack pipe. That's slang for crock pot. It's not.
Oh, yeah. It's a crack pipe. Now, this crock pot, crack pipe, whatever you want to call it, same thing. Make stuff you're addicted to, food. Get you messed up. The project, you know what? I had partners. There was a time when partners smoked in an ambulance, and they didn't want to work with me. It'd be 22 degrees outside. We'd be running somewhere. I'd open that freaking little side angle vent and roll the window down and say, "Hey, I don't like smoke, Cap."
Yeah.
And they gradually realized that they didn't want to smoke when they worked with me. That's not to say I didn't dip and spit in a bottle, but I didn't stink them up doing it.
You ever not have a bottle and spit in a glove?
A glove all day. And then they came up with them freaking. So who was I working with one day? They said, they gave me one of them little freaking emergency spaces. I said, them son bitches are useless in a hospital and they're useless in an ambulance. So what are you going to do with it? And then they came up with those freaking puke bags. Those things were awesome. Shoved a couple paper towels down in there and put it in the glove box in the crate. Remember all the trucks had the milk crate in the front?
Yep.
And they'd hold it perfect. I'm convinced I probably could have put a tube, kind of clipped it to my lapel or something. Didn't even have to bend down.
Hey, but the reason I was talking about breakfast, and we touched on Waffle House and all, at this Waffle House where I'm a regular, there was a fight the other day.
No.
I wasn't in there, but I happened to see some of the video of this fight, and it's two of the wait staff, and one of them's sitting at the low bar, and she's jawing this other one that's at the dish pit cleaning dishes. Next thing you know, they come over and they're all up in each other's face, and then the fists go to flying and the hair's getting pulled, and
There ain't no fist flying. They was slapping.
they hit the ground. Chair flies up. There's a guy sitting at the other low bar, and I'm watching this video. He never checks up. He's just sitting there eating. Goes over on this plate, grabs something. He's eating, looking over there, getting him another bite. He's just like, shit, I'm at the Waffle House.
He gonna pay for that meal, so he's gonna eat it. He don't want nobody to land in it, knock it off, ruin his pants, nothing. So he's gonna eat. He's watching. I guarantee you, watch the show out of the corner of his eye. Is that on social media? I need to look that up.
No, it is not on social media.
There ain't no way that's not on social media.
It's not.
A fight at the Waffle House. WLOX would report that as breaking news. That's how bad it is down here.
Hey,
There was a fight at the Waffle House in Hattiesburg today where two waiters decided the tip should have been split between them, and
and they duked it out. You cut out on me.
somebody was calling me. I'm gonna have to call him back.
Okay. Hey, look,
Hey,
this is a perfect time. Let's take a break. Let you call him. Let me go pee. Load up on some beer.
okay.
And then so you can leave and come back in if that's what you want.
Bullshit! It took me like 45 minutes to get in this son of a bitch. I ain't leaving nothing.
Okay.
Do you know that Waffle House sells a pork chop?
No.
True question. True question.
I
didn't know that. So, long story is the kid that just called me. I grew up with her dad, mom, and they got two kids, two boys, and my daughter and kid. They all fall in the same. So they were down here for their uncle's funeral. Don't cry. And they're out drinking. And they'd have been to the Hard Rock, and they're hungry. And Colin said, man, I want a pork chop. And my daughter Madison says, well, let's go to Waffle House. He says, Madison, they don't serve pork chops at a Waffle House. She said, what Waffle House do you go to? So they go to the Waffle House, and she says, he thinks y'all don't serve pork chops. He says, I don't know what Waffle House eats. That how you want it. You want it freaking covered, grilled, flame broiled on the hot, how you want it cooked. So he just told me, we were just talking. I said, man, believe it or not, we're sitting here talking about where we eat on the ambulance. And he says, no shit. I said, we were talking about Waffle House. He says, make sure they know they serve pork chops.
Not many Southerners order them though. I don't think they're prominent on the menu. Oh, look, last episode, we were talking about Wade Spurl and his book.
I have not read that book yet.
That's his book, Raising the Star, and it's Mississippi Milestones in EMS and a Few Related Stories by Wade M. Spurl Jr.
Yep. Who's to COVID.
This is your copy. I'm bringing it with me on October. I'm going to give it to you.
Dude!
It's not autographed. It's just one of his books. But this has got your name in it.
I'll take it, bro. I'm going to tell you something. Wade, do you remember Wade when he ran the state health department?
Oh, yeah. That's who all of our state licenses came through.
Yeah, it was, Wade was very loose in his morals and principles, but one thing he was not going to be loose on.
He was all for patience.
Dude, if you fucking missed by half a point, you failed.
Yep.
If you missed it by 32 seconds, you failed.
Yep.
That dude did more for EMS. And I met Wade in '85. Our previous employer, boss, was friends with him, and we used to take our boat out We had a 42-foot Grand Banks, and my dad had that was basically my boat. And Wade and his wife would come down, and Eldon and Jim. What was Jim's name? Took over EMS office. Jim.
In Jackson.
Yeah, Jim.
I
All
look.
those people were on the boat. Pam Fowler from Life Care at Jackson, Gary Davis. We were on the Grand Banks. They had the MIMS conference down here every year.
Yep.
And dude, it was but anyway, Wade, phenomenal cat. And then I got into sales, and he was running AAA, and he put me up with Chuck Carter, and we talked, and Wade could have just as easily told him, "Hey, y'all need to buy from him." He didn't do it.
Yeah.
It was all about the patient. And I respect that dude. I respected that dude. And to follow him, goddamn, I got COVID. God, let's see how bad this is gonna be. Hey guys, this pretty bad. Hey guys, I gotta go in the hospital. Hey guys, it ain't looking good. I mean, you can go back and look at his Facebook post.
Yeah.
It goes from laughing about it to fucking dead in like 2 weeks.
Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you, we all lost people we know. The AAA community was kind of like the Acadian community, and I mean, we were all friends. Everybody knew everybody, and to watch him go from joking about it to dead,
Open your eyes up.
yeah, it did. It just goes to show that it didn't give two shits who you were.
Since we're talking, earlier in the 2020s, you remember when that air ambulance went down in Alabama in 2023 and killed the pilot and the nurse and messed up the paramedic?
Life care, life start, yeah.
Life care, I think it was. You know that they finally released what was going on. That pilot was taking Flexeril and Benadryl and Zyrtec or something like that. All three of them say they depress your nervous system and don't operate machinery, and then they all say if you're taking something else like this, it makes it worse.
You talking about the guy going from Madison County? No, that was recent. That was last year. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I remember the crash.
Yeah, there was a crash. It went down in Shelby County, Alabama,
I do remember that.
in April of 2023.
So why was he taking all those different sinus medicines?
I don't know, but he was also taking a muscle relaxer. He was taking a Flexeril. Flexeril knocks me out. I'm a big old dude.
Yeah, no, I can't take that.
Uh,
Kidding. So that was NTSB's finding?
yeah.
Man, you just can't trust a pilot, but you got to trust him.
Well, man, I don't know. It's just it's a tough way to go. And man, if you're that nurse's family, it's a tough way. Went down, and then you find out that it went down because of that these drugs were in the pilot system.
I finally finished the pit, and at first I was kind of upset with that girl for reporting what's his name back
Langton.
Lang. But the more I got to thinking about it,
Oh,
he bad apple.
look, I love that. You put me on the pit, and I ended up binging it that weekend.
I finished it next time I watched like 3 in a row.
Yeah, I finished it off. I don't want to get too far into it in case anybody on here hadn't watched it yet. If you have HBO, endorsed by Rob, and I think it's well endorsed by Mike Pontius. I can speak for him and say y'all need to check out The Pit, because dude, you're right. Anytime HBO does anything, they bring in such realism to anything that they touch, like The Sopranos, Entourage, Deadwood, all these shows, they just make it. They bring it out and they do it right.
I am still, Lori and I went back and watched it because there was a woman having a baby on there, and Lori had actually just had something like this. She does
Yeah.
ultrasounds, and the black lady had the baby for the gay couple, the surrogate
Yep.
mother,
Yep.
and she bled out, and
Yep.
and part of the doctor attending resident discussion, I said, "What do you think could be wrong?" And one of them happened to say a inverted uterus. And basically the ligatures or whatever that hold the uterus up in the top of the abdomen, it's just basically not tied to anything other than just the muscle. It's really, really small.
Yeah.
But after you've carried around a watermelon for a while, it's really, really big and doesn't have a lot of tone. And Lori had one, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, and she's trying to do a scan, and this lady's bleeding to freaking death, and the OB doc's in there, and the nurse is in there, and anesthesia in there. She's trying to find something bleeding,
Yeah.
and the best description of it is what Lori's patient had was she had. You just get a road rash on your arm, and that fucker just bleeds like a stuck pig. There ain't nothing you can stop it. That's
Can't stop it.
basically what happens to the uterus when it inverts. The muscle fibers open up, the vessels are there, and it just bleeds. And they're saying, man, I had to have nicked him. No, you didn't nick shit. There's nothing you can cauterize. The only thing you can do is pack the uterus and try to push it back up in there. So anyway, the black lady had the baby, the surrogate lady had the baby for the gay guys on there, and she had it, and she's bleeding like a stuck pig. And it ended up being something different. It wasn't an inverted uterus, but Lori had gone to bed. I said, hey, you got to watch this. I think you'll appreciate what you're doing. But watching the baby come out of that cat, man, that was.
Look real.
I think Lori says it was real. She is convinced that was an actual childbirth film. Go back and watch it. I am telling you that I don't think 90%. I don't think that shit was CGI. I think that was real. 90% of the shit in that show was real somehow. But she says it was real.
It looked. I mean, but man, the way they can do these props now, it's not like old Fred the Head that we dealt with. It's, you know what I mean? You could blind intubate Fred the Head if you knew anything about anatomy.
Did you ever do your MPIC for offshore medical care person in charge?
Well, yeah.
All right, so we Joe Marshak was our trainer, and we were doing we went to Jackson. We put on the MPIC course, and we were doing the staffing deal, and so we did suturing, and I actually showed them how to do it because I remember doing it from being an ER tech. I mean, Jim Mitchell how to do it. We did pig leg suturing where it was cut, and you did the running match, so your individual ties, and you wrap it through and pull it. And I had all that. But the freaking IO testing, the simulation on chicken bones for pediatrics, unfreaking believable.
Yeah, but I never figured out why, you would need your offshore medic to do a pediatric IO. There ain't no peds out there.
I think it's the feel, Rob. I think if you can detect that marrow space in a freaking chicken leg or for a kid, you can sure as hell feel the marrow space on an adult when you get into it.
Yeah. Do you remember? That was another great thing that was in when the ship was going down. Everybody gets an IO. This guy comes in. He's alert and conscious, and he put. Yeah. Don't do that anymore.
Oh, that was funny as shit. Was that the drunk black guy?
No, it wasn't.
Why did they do that?
No, this was the last or second to the last episode. It was the big event.
I'm just trying to. Was it during the mass casualty? Yeah.
But
It,
it was that neurodivergent girl. The character was neurodivergent.
oh yeah, with the glasses. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you know who she is? That's Bryan Cranston's daughter. Bryan Cranston from Breaking
Um,
Bad.
bad?
That's his daughter.
I didn't know that.
Her first acting credit was Breaking Bad. She, as fate would have it, played his daughter in Breaking Bad.
I don't. I'm gonna tell you something, man. Just watching that show. Um, look, guys, if you ain't seen the pit, don't take my word for it. I'm telling you, it is. Yeah, the fakest part about the entire show was the handoff from the EMS crews.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
the fakest part of the entire show was, it yeah.
That was right off a script.
Yeah, no, it was. ER was a good show. What was the other? Saint Mary, Saint Joseph,
St. Elsewhere.
Saint Elsewhere was a good show. Then there was one that got too much into diversity and DEI. We quit watching that one.
Grey's Anatomy.
No, not Grey's. It may have been Saint Elsewhere. Anyway, it got way too political. The pit was unreal.
Well, I like, and I don't want to talk about it
Yeah. Talk about
because
it.
I don't
Man.
want to spoil it for folks. I like how when he first got to work, he had to go see that. He was talking to his relief, getting a hand over on the edge of a roof.
Well, he was finna jump, I think.
Yeah, I believe he was.
He had his feel.
That's what you were supposed to believe.
Yeah, I don't
But
think it had anything to do with a handoff. I think it was where is he at? But I wish they would have delved more into the. I guess they left COVID alone. Other than this dude's boss, Adam Abramson, died from COVID. But if you're gonna go into it, let's talk about it. If not, he
yeah.
passed away.
Well, they're wanting everybody's wanting to get past COVID, so they did a couple times they talked about how he passed, that it was COVID.
Yeah.
So hey, there's the mention of COVID, but most of the public is done with COVID. We're done hearing about it. The mutations now, every virus, it mutates quickly, but it gets weaker every time it mutates. So basically, COVID now, you aren't seeing the fatalities from it. You were seeing more fatalities coming, in my personal opinion. I think there were more fatalities coming from the side effects of the vaccines.
It'll be 10 years before we know what that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't think that there's I don't think there's anybody. We need to get Scott Melton on here because
there's your Chuck Will Whip.
Just cranked up. You hear him?
Yep, I hear him.
That sumbitch will go till sunup. He's got to have a sore throat. Seriously,
Yeah.
I'm afraid the dog 3:00 they want to go out or something. He's going. If I get out here at 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, start drinking my coffee, he's going. As soon as the sun comes up, he's gone. Crickets.
I'll be hearing that soon enough. I'll be out there at camp, listening to that out in those woods. Huh?
You don't have them at your house?
No.
There's something about being in the country, man. I freaking love it, dude.
Used to have Bob White running around out here. Those days are gone. This expansion and growth taking so much habitat away from what was here.
Are you on?
We had one of the biggest gopher tortoise colonies in Lamar County in this area, and they're now parking lots for strip malls.
Speaking of gopher tortoise, my daughter lives right across from Flint Creek.
Mm-hmm.
We FaceTimed the other night for 2 hours.
What now?
FaceTime.
Okay.
They gopher tortoise, a baby one, about 6 inches,
Uh,
digging a hole to lay some
looked
eggs.
about like a box turtle.
Yeah, maybe it's a box turtle. Digging holes with their back legs, reaching down in the hole, pulling. This rock kept falling back in. I said, hey, as soon as that rock comes in there, get that damn rock. They get the rock out. Turtle does this, trying to lay some eggs. Said, Daddy's fixing to rain. What do I do? I said, put an umbrella over it. Too late. Filled the hole up. Turtle took off.
Um,
Have no idea where it went.
yeah. Usually that's probably going to be a box turtle, and the reason I say that is the gopher tortoise, female gopher tortoise, they come out, they just get on the edge of that burrow, and they dig that hole right in front of they dig it on the apron of that burrow, is where they lay their eggs.
This is not where this turtle lives. This turtle found some soft ground and she thought it was safe.
Yeah.
Dug down
And
2 hours and it rained and she left.
dude, I found a box turtle the other day, a 3-toed box turtle, I swear. That thing was a kilogram, or almost a kilogram. Almost 2.2 pounds for a dang box turtle. That's the biggest box turtle I've seen since I was a kid. When I say it was a two-hand, it was a two-hander.
All right. When you come down here, if you remember, on the south side of my property, I dug a 18-inch wide track hoe swale to drain the top of my hill.
Right.
And we're sitting here one afternoon and we heard some noise. We look and it's maybe 100 feet, 100 feet from here, whatever.
Down the hill?
It's directly on the side of the house where you pull down, where you pay. It's right there. There's a swale. I'll show it to you.
Okay.
That noise. So we go to look. 18-inch wide trench. There's a turtle scraping down the side of it. A beer can got in the way. And you can hear him rolling over this beer can. Biggest turtle I've ever seen outside of a zoo. Never saw it again. Rob, it was, I don't know, was that 18 inches? 18 inches wide, 18 inches long.
That had to be an alligator snapping turtle.
Nope. I know what that looks like. It didn't have the same head. This was a rounded head. This was a blunt head. And never saw it again. The only reason we heard it was I guess I'd thrown a beer can or it washed in there or something. And you could hear the turtle trying to get over this beer can, and its shell was dragging each side of the trench, trying to get over the beer can and going down. We saw it. We left it alone. We didn't pick it up or do nothing. It was on its own. It was outside the fence. I wasn't worried about it. But yeah, that's my the Iberville Zoo story.
Well, I tell you what, I'm looking forward to getting down there in October. And when we get done with camp, I'm gonna get up with you, and because you and Vic said y'all want the wildlife tour, I'll hook y'all up.
Those tanks are pretty cool. I want to do that. I want to go. I want to see what all you can ride around, but I'd like to see some bombing too. So if we can do all that at one time, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'll put in a call. I know a guy.
Well, my buddy used to do all the medicals out there for the Guard, People Dixie Hollis. He retired from the National Guard. He always said he could get me up there. He's gone, so I can't do that now. But it's hey, get this! I just got a phone call, text. What's today? Wednesday, Monday afternoon, buddy, and I've had this on the sponsorship, $2,500, and you can name the stage. It's got 2 sticks bandstand, but you get your own logo. He said, hey, will $4,000 get me a naming right for the stage? I'm like, done. New York Life has a program where they do walks around the country or jobs around the country, volunteers, and New York Life corporate pays to whatever requested pool $25 an hour for them to go do their public service.
Okay.
And so my buddy Brian Grant has actually talked to all his friends and, hey man, please put this down as your public service recipient. And so we got $4,005 the other day.
Awesome.
So it's going to be called he's trying to figure it out right now, but I think it's going to be the New York Life Grandstand, Brian Grant Financial or something like that. We don't know yet.
There you
So we're going
go.
to sponsor. Yeah. And
I'm sure he'll be snapping a picture of that. You're gonna have that banner up there with that on there,
yeah. I told him, I said, I ain't taking the two sticks down, but I'm going to give you your banner up there. So I'll put it above it. And yeah, we're rocking and rolling, man.
huh? Hey, look, let me tell you something. And folks, what we're speaking about, we've talked about on a few other episodes, is the La Cusa barbecue. It's a barbecue competition, $40 a head in D'Iberville, Mississippi. You come in at 11 o'clock. You're enjoying live music. You're getting all the barbecue you can eat. You're getting all the beers you want to drink, or all the cokes you want to drink, or waters. Yeah, it's just an all inclusive. You come in, you get an armband, and you just have a blast. So, at the end of the video, I'm not going to do it right now in this part like I've done in the previous ones. I'm going to throw it on at the end, Mike. I'm going to throw the poster up again at the end of this podcast so y'all can see it. It'll have the address, and I think it's got the barcode on there. I don't know if it's clear enough when I put it on this video, if you can see it and scan that barcode. You can probably get there to see about buying your tickets for it.
Yep.
It's an awesome event. It's going to a great charity. So we look forward to seeing as many folks. Hey, if you want to meet me and Mike, we're going to be there. Vic Stewart from the previous episode is going to be there. Cody Martin, a firefighter that we had on from an episode, he's going to be there. I've about filled out my dance card. I might have to buy a couple more tickets for folks, Mike. I've got my tens given away.
Hey, Rob, I finally figured I had to transfer your money out of Apple Pay. It only took going on the internet to figure it out, but I got it figured out. But it is, and I tell people this, and I think I've told you this, but I got people want to give money, and I'm like, you know what? More than money is I need people here.
That's exactly why I'm making sure that they're going to come use those.
Yeah,
Now,
I got your money, but I need them. I need you and them, and that makes the band happy. That makes the cook teams happy. Um,
I'm I'm filling out. I'm not going to have you a wasted armband. In
yeah, no,
fact, I may reach out and get a couple more from you. But
all do that.
look, I do want to ask you this. Bring your camp chairs
Yeah,
when you come to this thing. So if you want to listen to the music, pop your camp chair out there. But what I wanted to ask you, Mike, I know y'all got those tents set up for all your cooks. Can people bring a tent if they want to get back out of the way and have a shaded spot?
you know what? It is the I'm not going to say no. Yeah, I'm not going to tell anybody no. We've got some little winged areas, but they're generally already full. Um, I don't want to obstruct people's view. Uh,
Exactly.
I don't want people to go hide off in the corner. So I would rather you bring a straw hat and a chair and sit out in the middle of the band amphitheater where they can see you.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Gotcha.
That's kind of my take on that. So, and one other thing I think we're going to do, I'm probably going to do a chair rental for $5 a chair. If you don't want to bring your chair, it ain't the most comfortable chair, but it's something you can sit in.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to do chair rentals this year. I'm going to label them with La Cusa and chair one through whatever. And you pull up to the table and you scan the QR and pay $5 and you get a chair. You ain't even got to bring a chair. It's just another way to make people more comfortable. And I think I told you that we're doing the kids barbecue Friday night, which I'm really excited about.
I've already got a hotel room Friday night, so that means I can come down and I can be there for the
Dude,
kids barbecue contest.
that's going to be phenomenal. We just sent off our first half of the payment for the band from Nashville and talked to them on a weekly basis. It's I got the cook teams lined up. We got 8 teams. May end up with another team, but I'm on the fence about that. But yep, we're ready to roll, man. We're
You're
like,
you're picky about who you let come in and cook, aren't you?
I am very picky about it because I don't want it to be a competition where the only reason you're here is to compete and win. And there's a lot of people that have a problem separating friendly competition and competition. And so I make sure I tell people when they come, they say, "Hey man, how much is on the line?" I said, "Well, it's $2,500 in prize money and another $2,000 or $3,000 in additional funds out there for stuff." I said, "But it only pays first place." "What do you mean?" I said, "Yeah, you either win or lose." I said, "We're here to raise money. I'm not going
If
to
you
give
ain't
everybody."
first, you last.
That's exactly right, Ricky Bobby. And so a couple people have not really understood that, and I don't want them here. And to be perfectly honest, the teams that win more than one place, and even last year, team only won one category. They gave me the money. It's very rare that they don't give me the money back. So
Right. I
it
think
it
what they I think what a lot of these teams like there are people that they have a barbecue business and they do competition barbecue as well. They want the trophy. They're more, hey, we this is our trophy that we had. Because I've been to barbecue joints that I've reviewed where you see all the competition trophies they've got on their wall.
well, it's not as much that as it's become a bougie ass freaking sport where people are competing for points to be a world champion. And I can be a world champion fundraiser. I can be a world champion cooker. I'm elected to be a world champion fundraiser. I don't need a feather in my cap or a trophy on my wall or
You
my
ain't
name.
never had nobody turn down your barbecue. I can tell you that, Pontius.
Well, no, and Robbie, I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate that. But my point, I think, is that people are in it for the self satisfaction of others as opposed to the satisfaction of helping others. Does
Right.
that make sense?
Yep.
So I and people may need to get it sanctioned. I don't give two shits about a sanctioned barbecue. If you want to come cook, come cook. But I'm not going to go through all the bullshit sanctioning. They've got a couple different sanctioning bodies. You got to have judges. You got to have this. You got to
You
pay.
got judges.
I know I got judges. But my point is to be sanctioned, it is a whole different monster. You got to pay 5 places. You
Yeah.
got to have this, and this, and this. And you got to
Yeah.
I ain't got time for that, dude. Come cook your shit. And the only reason you're cooking everything you're cooking is to feed everybody. You're turning in a small part of it to get judged. So, at the end of the day, it all boils down to making
Oh,
sure that people that come in and eat have a good time.
and here's another thing. It's not like they're buying their own brisket. You aren't getting somebody going and buying a Wagyu brisket and
Well,
bringing
they
you
are
cooking.
now. This year we changed it.
Oh, so they aren't getting. You aren't supplying the meat.
Nope. I had 2 teams say, "Hey man, let us just supply it and charge us $250 a team." So I took the meat cost out. I'm actually making more money.
Okay.
Took the cost out and they're bringing their own meat. I said, the only stipulation is this: you better cook X, 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 and X because you got to have enough to feed the people. Okay, fine. I said, don't show up in here with one rack of ribs and one brisket and one chicken and say, think you're done, period. Or you won't come back. So if somebody says there wasn't any food left, I'm going to blame that on y'all because nobody ever said that when I supplied the meat.
Well, look, folks. I don't know how to tell y'all any better than this. It's one. Y'all got to, if you're anywhere in this area by D'Iberville, Mississippi, y'all need to come to this event. And again, at the end of this video, I'm going to have the poster up there for y'all. I appreciate y'all coming along. Also, wanted y'all to comment and tell us your places to eat. Want y'all to comment what y'all would like to see when you come to a barbecue. Because we've got a menu that's got chicken, ribs, brisket, pulled pork, all that's on there. The sides are a lot of what I really dug when I was going around. Some of the sides that these teams came up with, that was just like, I because they did that on their own.
The The peanut, the praline ice cream with smoked honey bacon. God,
Yes.
that was good.
Yes. Again, our email, if you want to email the show, is gettin108 at gmail.com. And that's right here. Gettin108 at gmail.com. Y'all take care. Thanks for coming along. I'm going to be off for a couple of weeks. I'll probably come on and do some live waves at y'all, but I'm going to be busy at a camp that I volunteer at every year. So it'll be some little quick, short snippets just so y'all see that I am still on the planet. And we will be back to doing these episodes once a week once I get back from my volunteer stuff that I do.
Peace out, gang. Thank y'all. Hope
Peace.
you enjoy. See you, Robbie.
All right. Take care, Mikey.
See you, bro.